In today's gaming news, Gloria Victis tries to get on Steam, we've got 7 minutes of Lords of the Fallen gameplay footage, and Batman Arkham Origins may still be broke, but the developer plans to work on DLC instead. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. This is Force with your day's gaming news. I'm pretty excited today as I've got two brand new upcoming games to tell you about, and most exciting of all is that they're both RPGs. The first one is called Gloria Victis. The game is currently trying to get on Steam by going through the Greenlight process. This is an upcoming realistic medieval MMORPG that is set in a parallel universe to the 10th and 15th century. Some of the game's main features include non-targeted combat, sandbox crafting, RVR wars, and a partial loot PvP system. Now the game is currently in pre-alpha, and they do plan to not only continuously patch and update the game, but eventually lift the NDA. It's actually got this sort of Kickstarter-like backing program on the official website where you can back in tiers of amounts. I think it's like $1, $10, and then it goes up to $40 some odd dollars, and that will give you access if you purchase the $10 package. I'm not advocating this at the moment because I don't know a ton about this game, but I do like it in concept. Now I took a look at the video that was on the Greenlight page. You know, it's an indie game. Graphically it doesn't look amazing by any means, but its graphics don't matter, right? The most important thing is the gameplay. Unfortunately, right now, the gameplay animations do look a little bit floaty and janky, if I do say, but you know, again, keep in mind it's an indie project. It's in very early development. It could improve over time. What's most notable here with this game is the concept behind it. It's a fantasy medieval RPG focusing on RVR. There's a partial loot PvP system. What does that mean? It means you kill someone in PvP and you can loot some of their items. I don't know exactly how it's going to work, if it's just gold, if it's some of the equipment that they're wearing, what have you, but it's a cool concept. It's interesting, and that's why I wanted to let you guys know about it. The next game that I wanted to tell you about is Lords of the Fallen. There was recently a 7-minute gameplay video posted up on IGN for this upcoming fantasy RPG. What we're getting in terms of vibes from this game and how it's being described as is like it's sort of a westernized, more arcadey version of a darker Demon Souls. If you take a look at the gameplay, very deliberate movements. There's a stamina bar that's going to determine how much you can attack, how frequently, and depending on the type of attack that you do, more stamina will be used up. And then you're, from what we've seen so far, facing a small amount of enemies at any given time, but they've got very deliberate actions, and you've got to respond to the type of enemy that they are. And I mean, hell, there's even like a backstab system. You sneak behind someone and you get a critical hit. Again, very similar to the Souls series. I have to be honest, I'm really liking the way that this is showing up. Sort of contrast to the indie game that we first talked about, Lords of the Fallen, is looking like something that not only graphically looks good, but is also very well polished in terms of the gameplay, animations, and quality. All around, it's looking very, very interesting. I've also heard news that it might be similar to a Zelda game, and that there's a big focus on exploration, and as you go throughout the game, you'll unlock areas that were previously unavailable to you. Beyond being similar to Zelda, also similar to some games like the Darksiders series. So yes, both these titles very interesting. I think that they're worth keeping an eye on, and as we get more information in the coming months about either of these titles, I'll be sure to keep you up to date. Lastly, today I'll be talking with you guys about Batman Arkham Origins. Haven't talked a lot about that game here on the Force feed. It seemed to do fairly well, especially if you weren't really into the Batman series. This was, I guess, a good one to go in on based on what we've heard on the reviews, but there were some problems, undoubtedly, and some of those were being game-breaking bugs. Well, the developer knows about those game-breaking bugs, but apparently has no intention to fix all of them. According to a post on the game's forums, the team states that they are working hard on upcoming story DLC, and there are currently no plans for releasing another patch to address the issues that have been reported on the forums. They're saying that if they do go ahead and add another patch, they will be focusing on the bugs that are progression blocking, but there are bugs that they know about right now that are stopping people from progressing through the game, and they're not focusing on those, and they're instead focusing on DLC. How is this not ridiculous? Honestly, they need more money, they want more money, they're a company, but come on, there are consumers out there who have purchased your game who cannot finish it. There are progression blocking bugs in the title. Now, I am not playing this game. I don't have this problem, but that doesn't mean we should ignore the people who do. And a lot of times when I talk about issues with games, game-breaking bugs, crashes, I'll get a lot of comments from people saying, well, the game works fine for me, you're an idiot. If it works fine for you, that doesn't mean it works fine for everyone. Use your brain, please. There are people out there that are having a problem with this game. The developer is choosing not to fix that problem and instead to work on DLC so they can spend more money on the game that isn't even really fully working for them right now. It is not cool, it's not right, and frankly, I think they should be ashamed. But that is just my opinion. As always, I'd love to know what you guys think in the comment section below. And that's going to do it for today's episode of the show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, this has been Force, and you have just been force-fed. Come on, seriously, how could anyone think that this is okay? They should take a note from EA and Battlefield and don't work on any DLC until your game is fixed. Now, it might mean that you never end up working on DLC ever, but that's the way it's gotta be. People paid for your product, and it should work, you dummy.